Hi, I'm Josie, and this is day 9 of a 2-week mini cut that I will more than likely extend for one more week, mostly to see maintenance. I made the poor decision of starting this 2-week mini cut in like 2 days or so before my PMS week. My advice to you is if you are still dealing with menstrual cycles, maybe don't do a 1 or 2 week mini cut when you are expecting that period of time. Maybe wait until after maybe like the first day of your new cycle, so once you start bleeding, the weight will kind of fall off, and because weight does not equal fat. So weight does not equal fat. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people who might be trying to consider all of their weight to be not fat, because fat does have weight, so don't just ignore that. But I woke up today at 126.6 pounds. I had started just around 129 pounds. And when I got the idea the day before, I was like, I saw 130 when I woke up, and I was like, oh. But I think that was a little bit of just water retention and everything. And so I'm like, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. But no, I want to get to 125 again. So at 126.6, we would be looking at extreme weight loss based on calculations for that 1.5 pounds left. And I don't know if I really want to do that, especially since I'm planning to do a wine tour, wine tasting with charcuterie, and until then I'm not drinking any alcohol, but when that comes I'm going to be tasting wine. But I will show you what I do to get the calories that I'm aiming for, and all I do is I go online and I look up calculator.net, and I'm going to do a screen recording of the whole process. So let me start a new tab so you can see what I mean, and then close this so we can start fresh. All right. So I type in, oh, I spelled that wrong. Calorie intake calculator. It already popped up, and I just use calculator.net. I use customary units, 26, female. Technically, I'm 5'3.5" if you actually put me against a wall, but for the sake of this, we're just gonna do 4 inches. And so let's do 126.6 because I've lost weight. So if you start losing a little weight here and there, it's probably not that big of a deal, but I find the less fat that I have, the more precise I need to be. So when I had already had my, when I was like freshly postpartum and everything, I would take a couple weeks, just kind of get used to having the baby and getting the bulk of the healing taken care of, that initial contraction of the uterus back down to size, the worst of the bleeding. And then after that, when I would start to do the calories, I could go for about 5 pounds or so with every child where I didn't have to do it. But once I started getting to the like from going from like 140s to 130s, and then once I start getting to 130, any weight after that, I find I really need to start dialing in the calories more. So I do think this is a good opportunity. If I thought I was 130 before, might as well. If I'm 126.6 now, might as well redo it. And I'm going to do moderate and active, and I'm going to find a number somewhere in between for those, for what I'm aiming for, because I know for me, I do a lot of daily exercise. I sometimes with, if my kids are sick, we're not doing as much, but I'm just going to pull. What? He doesn't have to play with you. So I'm going to pull 2 numbers. I'm going to do moderate, the exercise 4 to 5 times a week. And then I'm also going to do active because I have the 3 children. Whenever I run errands, it's not just me running errands. It might also be me slinging a child over my shoulder because they are frustrated and trying to run away, and we can't have that. So now I'm carrying, 35 pounds on my shoulder while pushing a full cart, and someone else is tugging on me, and it's just a lot. And I have done this before. I've learned my lesson where I might underestimate because I'm only thinking, oh, just how much I exercise, like I go to the gym now that I have a gym membership, or when I have the time at night. It's just a little bit of a workout. It's not, and it's only so many times a week. But the way that my property is set up, everything is at all four corners of it. So it's not, if I'm going outside to water my plants or anything like that, or to just play outside with the kids, it's not just one area. I don't just sit and watch. I have to go back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm going to pull numbers from moderate and active. So moderate, 4 to 5 times a week. Let's go ahead and calculate that. And on my little notebook, oh, wait, where did I put, oh, I put it underneath. So what it says is maintain weight. Don't really care about that right now. Mild weight loss. So let's write that down. 1653, 4.5 pounds a week. And then let's give it 2 spaces and then just one to separate it. Weight loss for 1 pound a week, it is saying 1,403 calories a day for 1 pound. Oh, come on. Don't be weird. 1 pound a week. All right. We'll just do that. So I have that. Now what I'm going to do is go back and take active, daily exercise or intense exercise 3 to 4 times a week. And I'm not going to do extra active for very intense exercise, daily or physical job. I do have a physical job, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. The other thing too is sometimes if I'm aiming for low calories, and I do a really good job at staying on top of it, because I feel a need to fill the quota. So if I have 1,500 calories to eat, I do like to eat it. And then if I have a little slip up and we're out and I want to try like samples of food or whatever, then I will, and I'm over. Whereas if I know that I'm kind of aiming a little bit less, that's not so much of a big deal because I'm not using a calorie tracking app. Okay, so for being more active, we have 1764 for 0.5 pounds a week. And then we have 1514 for 1 pound a week. And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to find a number in the middle, and I am not doing any kind of real math. I'm just looking and seeing about approximately what's in the middle. So 1653 to 1764 sounds like a good number in the middle is 1700 kcal. And then for 1403 to 1514, that just seems, let's just do 1480. And I know that's a little bit above being in the middle, but I think that's fine. And that's kind of what I'm going to aim for, and I will adjust in about 2 or 3 days. So I'm not 100% sure what I really need to stick with, but I can aim for 1480 for today and tomorrow. And if I am way too exhausted, and because it's not just based on dropping weight, if I am way too exhausted and I can't keep up with the things that I need to get done and I become far too irritable, I will go to the 1700 calorie and I can reevaluate from there. So for the next 2 days, and I will do daily updates, I'll just make them shorts where I'm looking at what I'm doing. For the next 2 days, I will aim for 1480. And I want to make sure that I'm getting at least 100 fluid ounces of water. And I want to make sure that I'm getting at least 120 grams of protein. And the only thing about this is if I do extra cardio, I will try and keep some sort of track of that if I do a lot of extra cardio. So when I work out, I do not do cardio. Anytime I'm doing deliberate cardio, is kind of rare, which is not very good, especially if I'm saying I want to do a 5K. It's rare, and I do need to add that because I'm not trying to just fall over. So, if cardio, and I'm not talking about a hike, I'm talking about like hopping on the treadmill or stationary bike or whatever, add half calories back. And the reason I'm saying that is if I'm using a machine, a lot of times they're taking either some sort of average or it's not fully there. If I'm using the hand rest on a treadmill, that's not the same as trying to stabilize myself. And so a lot of times machines will overestimate what you're losing if you're not putting in what you have, and even then it might still be a little weird. I have found with some machines when I put my information it's somewhere, if I do about 80% of what it's saying, it seems to stick. But the machines I've been at recently, there's been several, like my own machine, you know, I can't even put my weight into it. It's a very cheap treadmill. So if I do that, I can add half the calories that it claims I'm losing back, but we'll see. This is my goal. So 1480 for the next 2 days. So today and tomorrow, and we'll see how I feel. I'll report back. I'll have everything written down for today, and dang nabbit, I had my peanut butter oatmeal, so. But gonna do that for the next 2 days, and if I am super tired and irritable and it's unsustainable, then I will go to 1700. Ideally, it should be okay. Normally, I feel like it takes a few days to get to that point, but yeah, I think that I have a game plan, and I'm rambling at this point, but sorry I didn't do Saturday to Saturday. I did a little extra before Saturday, what I do Thursday, and I am excited for this. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. 1480 the next 2 days. Woo! Anyway, if you like this sort of thing and it's motivating or just interesting to see, feel free to subscribe and like this video. And if not, don't subscribe and don't like the video. And yeah, you know, maybe just keep sticking around to watch though, and be around for my downfall if I have to really go into 3 weeks, which I probably will do 3 weeks just because I want to see what my actual maintenance is for 125 pounds. And so even if I hit that in a week or in 6 days, I still want to actually maintain it and not just be dehydrated, because sometimes you could just be dehydrated and it feels like you lost a bunch of weight, but it's not true weight. I mean, well, it's weight, but it's not fat loss. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.